Hi, this is David from Toastmost, the WordPress for Toastmasters project. And one of the things I'm working on recently is a few district websites. A couple of districts that have been formed out of realignment are working with me on their new sites. One of the things I want to have is a really nice leadership page that shows off the trio, featured a little bit bigger, followed by the other district officers. Something similar for the leadership page on the Online Presenters Toastmasters website. So this has been here for years, but it's a little bit fancier now with the rounded pictures. And so we're seeing the club officers followed by the members who have chosen to make their profiles public. So that's an option. And here's mine with my bragging rights and my social media links. Part of the idea here is that people can use this to network with other club members, to maybe make connections, business connections outside of Toastmasters as well. So suppose I am Ralph Smedley and I realize, gee, I haven't really fleshed out my profile. So I can go in here to edit the profile. I can also jump right to editing the profile picture. And so what I'll do here is upload from the computer a Ralph C. Smedley image. And I can also go in here and put in a paragraph about myself. To make this visible to the members of the public, we can go in here and we can put in things like whether the email should be shown, whether the phone number should be shown. For most people, they might want to just show their name and their details and their social media. So you can make those selections and do update. And so now we have a little bit more fleshed out profile. He doesn't have social media links, but Ralph might not have had social media links. Now, if I'm logged in, I'm a member of the site, I'm going to see a more complete list. I'm going to see all the members who haven't specifically opted out of having their information shared. And if I'm logged in as an administrator, then I'll also see the option to edit other people's profiles or to edit the officers list. So this is how it determines who should be shown on the officers listing, is we can go in here, and this is where we have selected a user account for that member to associate with the different roles. You can have your own custom roles in here as well, but we have some of the standard ones listed out. So if we go to edit one of these member pages, what we find is that we have a block that is set up to represent member profiles. So this is just a block that represents the complete officers list, but you could also set it to a specific role, so that if you want to feature somebody more prominently, such as district director, you can choose that person in here. You can choose them by role, you can choose them by name, or you can choose a whole list. So the reason why you would choose just one person is that you want to format that one a little bit differently. Like in some of those listings, I had the photo for the top person, the district director or the president, be a little bit different than everybody else's image. So here we have one for Amy Pond, and then following that, we have one for the VP of Membership. And maybe we can see this a little bit more clearly by inserting a new one. So we're going to insert a new block, and we're going to choose the member profile block. And right now it's just saying that I need to choose an option. So again, I'm going to select, say, officers list, and it will put in the complete list of officers that I have programmed into the system. Now, part of the advantage of doing it this way is that the individual member can go in and update their own profile picture. They can update their own information. They don't have to go through the webmaster or anybody else. So in my district leadership example, if I go into the editor, we'll see that we have actually, let me open it up this way. We can see we have one profile block that is set up to be the district director, and then we have columns set up. So in the left column, we have the profile for our program quality director. In the right column, we have the one for our club growth director, and then that's followed by one that is set to show the officers list. So that will list all the officers except the ones who have already been shown on the page. So it does check to make sure that we're not duplicating. Each block also has its own formatting controls. So do we want to show a picture or do we not? Do we want to show the large image, the medium-sized image, the small image? So we can make these changes right in here, and we'll see the updates. So the default is actually that it's just a square image. You can have slightly rounded corners, or you can have it in a circle. And note that when I made the change, I just made it to that one block. However, there is an option. If we scroll down here, we can make them all the same. So I can say copy to all member blocks, and now these others also have the rounded corners. So we can make them all the same, and then maybe we go back here and decide that still we want George's picture to be a little bit bigger. If you go into the documentation section of the Toastmost.org website, this is listed under extra bells and whistles, dynamic officer and member profile pages. I try to document it fairly thoroughly down here, how you can insert these, how you can upgrade from the older version as well. So the older version, there was no visual display inside the editor. It was just a placeholder code that would insert a member listing in a very standard format. Now there is what's called a block pattern that you can insert that will give you kind of the default, and then you can customize from there the way I've been showing you.